like to call the Monday, July 1st board meeting to order. Roll call?
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Present.
Mr. Sturgill.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recognition of visitors, seeing none. First hearing of the public. We need to approve the minutes from the June 26th meeting, and the board waives the right to read the minutes from that meeting.
So moved. Support.
Roll call?
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes. Any old business to share? Reports and recommendations of the treasurer.
As a follow-up from the May 28th meeting regarding a potential levy, I have a resolution submitting to the electors of the school district the question of an additional 4.97 mil tax levy for the purpose of general permanent improvements pursuant to section 5705.21 of the revised code.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion?
I got one thing to say about the levy and the way that it's stated is PI. We use a lot of acronyms and things, but permanent improvement might be a better way. I don't know how it's going to be put in the paper, but not everybody will know what PI means. I mean, I know it's stupid, but
No, actually, it's not stupid. If I could just elaborate very, very quickly. Thank you. A PI levy is permanent improvement, which means anything that has the intended lifespan of about 5 years. This money is not going to be spent on raises. It's not spent on people. This money is spent on, in essence, the big expenditure is our buildings. Our buildings are now, they're not new, although they still look great and they've been well maintained. With any kind of structure, any building, any school, about 20 years in, things start to go wrong. We put a lot of money into roofs, a lot of money into HVAC, which is your heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Those are big ticket items, and especially post-COVID, they went from being big ticket items to being very big ticket items because things just cost a lot more now, as everybody knows, than they used to. We're just trying to maintain a school district that has the facilities that our children deserve. The number 4.97 is not exactly a round number. What Tia did is she worked with the county auditor, and as many of you know, when the district passed this levy, the bond issue about 20-something years ago, there was a big commitment from the state and a small commitment from the community. I think it was 81% paid by the state, 19% paid by the community, by our taxpayers. What we are proposing is that money, that there was actually 2 levies back then. One rolls off in a few months, the other rolls off next year. What we want to do is just, our goal with that number of 4.97 mils is to maintain the same amount of money that our taxpayers have been paying over the past 20 years, continuing moving forward. But there will be 1-year overlap for one of those bond issues, and that's because the auditor made some changes years ago to kind of spread it out longer. But again, this is something that is necessary for our district. School districts go back for levies. Theoretically, they're supposed to last 5 years. This one is 20 years old, but the last time we went back for any new money was 2012. So we're hoping we continue to earn your trust. Even if this levy passes, we still need to make some cuts in this district. We received a lot of money through ESSER funds, which are the funds that were provided for COVID relief. And we had some great needs during that time that some of those things have gone away as COVID goes further and further in our rearview mirror. So again, even if this levy passes, we will still need to make some cuts. If it doesn't, we'll have to make massive cuts. And we'll have that information out to you very, very soon as we provide more detail to it. But I just wanted you to know, the community and the board, to understand where we're coming from and why this recommendation is being made.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you for that.
We'll be out in the public, meeting with people. We'll meet with anybody, anywhere. Let us know where you'd like to talk to learn more about what we're doing, and we'd like to learn more about what your thoughts and concerns are. Thanks.
Any other questions or concerns? Roll call?
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
I also have item 8.02 for approval.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
That's all the items I have.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Reports and recommendation of the superintendent.
Thank you, Madam President. And these were not originally planned to be on here, so this is for the board and the community, this information. These 10.01 to 10.08 that I'm going to recommend here in a second are all items for next school year that come from federal grants, which we have to hurry up and get some things in to make sure they're here when school starts. So that's the reason for putting them on the special board meeting as opposed to waiting a couple weeks and putting on a regular board meeting. But I would like the board to consider for approval items 10.01 to 10.08, operations matters.
So moved.
Support.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
And that's all I have.
Thank you. Any new business? Committee reports? Second hearing of the public. Our next board meeting will be a special board meeting on July 15th at 3 o'clock here in the board meeting room. And with that, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support. Roll call?
Mr. Sturgill.
Yes.
Mrs. Washington.
Yes.
Mrs. Nazario.
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson.
Yes.
Dr. Ballard.
Yes.